Are we going?
Wow, I didn't go to
That's.
I hit X, so maybe it skipped over it. I was gonna say we have to skip over the opening cutscene because there's some spoilers in it. But anyway, we're here looking at Final Fantasy XII HD, the Zodiac Age. This is not a full LP. We are not doing a full LP of this game. This game, when played normally, is 70 hours long. Ooh. And if we played it with notes and doing all the stuff that I would want to do, this would be like 150 hours long.
Yeah, no, that's too much of a commitment for right now, so we're just going to be doing a research ramble, right?
Yes, that's correct. Which is just kind of like a sub-series here on the Research Runs YouTube channel, where we don't run through a full playthrough, we're just kind of looking at it for a couple of hours or even shorter sometimes.
Yeah, just kind of one-off videos, maybe 2 or 3, but never, like, not a full time, like, not a full thing.
Exactly. And now I've actually have not touched this HD version at all. I've played the original PS2 game somewhat extensively. And you and I have actually played kind of the beginning of this game before.
PS2.
Just so there's kind of some background so people know what I mean by that. Last year or so, I guess, we kind of played just the first 4 or 5 hours or so of this game, because again, I had no interest in launching into a full LP of this, but I kind of just wanted to show it to Joey and talk about the beginning of it, because
it's got a very strong beginning.
Yes, and also because this version was coming out, and I know that this is kind of like a single-player MMO. Yeah. I know you're enjoying Final Fantasy XIV a lot, so I kind of thought I'd pitch this to you.
And there are a lot of similarities between this and like 14, just from like visually, a lot of the cues are the same.
Mm-hmm. But I actually haven't touched this HD version yet. We actually just installed it a few minutes ago before playing this, and part of why I'm doing this with you is because since you've already seen the opening of this game and know a decent, and I've talked about some of it somewhat candidly with you, you wouldn't be the ideal candidate for doing a full playthrough of it.
Exactly.
If do not take this as any kind of confirmation, if ever I do a full playthrough of this game, it'll probably be with myself and Aiden, because she doesn't know anything about it. That way we'll be able to have full blind reactions to everything that's going on. But anyway, since we won't spoil anything, I'm not going to talk about this too candidly. Events that happen in the future of this game, though I will address a couple of things that I guess are kind of later game spoilers, but not at first. If you're just want to take a quick look at this game with no kind of no threat of being spoiled on anything, this first episode's going to be fine. We're just going to talk about it kind of as it unfolds. This was very late PS2. This game was it was 2006, I believe, originally. Like it already looked really good for its time.
I remember when we were playing, commenting about how for a moment I was thinking it was PS3, like when I was seeing the very beginning of it.
And not even just this FMV, because I mean Square Enix's FMVs have always looked good.
Of course, but even just the standard
in-game looks good. I don't understand what kind of technical wizardry they did to make this game run
Somebody
on PS2.
sold their soul for this.
The music especially, we're listening to Reorchestrated right now, but the original score of this game is you can barely tell. I don't know how they made that run on a PS2 soundboard. It was something else. Though there are a lot of places where you can see corners they cut, like for example the voice acting in the first game, in the original version of the game, was very noticeably compressed. I don't think they had the original audio files for this game, so it's not perfectly clean, but it is improved over the original game.
In the presence of these holy relics, I hereby pronounce you man and wife from this time forth. May the blessings of the gods light your path for all eternity. Farewell.
The opening sequence and opening credits of this game are a better opening sequence and opening credits than the actual film Kingsglaive Final Fantasy XV.
We don't talk about that film.
It doesn't
exist.
I'm not going to bring it up anymore. That was just a thought that I just had, because when Yoshitaka Amano's name came up cleanly after that cut, instead of just going to a solid black frame and cutting into action, I was like, I have to say something.
No, it's a myth. You can't prove it's there.
It's only a matter of time before they reach the borders of Dalmasca. There is nothing to halt their advance.
Secure Nalbina with all haste.
I will go.
And I will go at his side.
So a lot of stuff happens really quickly here. But basically, in the very beginning, we were seeing a political marriage. If that wasn't super obvious, but we talked over a little bit of information there a second ago. These two kingdoms, the kingdom that we're seeing right now, and the kingdom that the princess from me was asking about, my father, another country called Nabadis, or the capital. I forget, because there's this other country in this game, and we know of the name of it and 2 major cities, and they all start with N, and I get which one is which flipped around all the time.
And you're the one who actually played this.
Yes.
Like,
and
anytime
I know,
was trying to talk to you about it.
I know a lot about this game, and the fact that I get names confused sometimes is indicative of a couple of things.
I remember when we were first playing this, and you kept switching between them. In my mind, I wasn't even trying to keep up with which was which.
But basically, so there was some kind of... So these guys are allying themselves to hold back some kind of invading horde of some sort. They're all shipping off to battle. Nabradia is the name of the city, Nalban a fortress, and Nabudis is the capital. They're all Na.
Okay.
They're not just N, they're all Na.
Yeesh.
We must withdraw! No! Paling still stands!
Shield beyond sight, ne'er failing light.
The paling's fallen! Then it's over! For my father. For my father! Lord Rasler!
Blessings of the Great Father descend, and guide your bodies return to the earth. Great Father, guide your spirits return to the Mother of all. There you shall find peace. Pharaoh.
Boy, a lot sure does go on in this first cutscene. I completely forgot, honestly.
Yeah. No, I remember when we first watched that, and your response was like, that was like an entire film of narrative content just occurred in like 5 minutes. Which isn't necessarily always a good direction to go. And I do think that a lot of the political stuff in this game flies past people a little bit too fast.
Right.
But, which is part of why I would want to go into this with a novel's worth of notes to make sure I got everything right.
Mm-hmm. God above, that would take you forever, though.
It would.
At the mercy of history's restless tides. At this time, 2 great empires struggled for dominion over Ivalice. Arcadia in the east, Rosaria the west. The invasion of the Kingdom of Nebradia was Arcadia's first step in its westward march. With Lord Rossla's beloved homeland consumed by the hellfires of war, it seemed clear that Arcadia would soon mete out a like fate to Dalmasca. The fall of the fortress at Nalbina told the destruction of the greater part of Dalmasca's forces. A counterattack was mounted by the Order of the Knights of Dalmasca, ever brave and faithful. But against the martial might of the Arcadian armies, they stood little chance of victory. Indeed, their defeat was to be absolute. Soon thereafter, Arcadia came forward, offering terms of peace, or, as one might rather put it, terms of Dalmasca's surrender. Lord Romanos, King of Dalmasca, and my dear friend, had no choice but to accept these terms. It was, thus, only with reluctance that he set out for Nalbina Fortress, now under Arcadian occupation, to affix his seal to the Emperor's Treaty of Peace. The king had scarce departed his royal city of Rabanasta when the remnants of the Order made their return, and not a moment too soon, for a terrible revelation awaited them. The treaty would be signed with steel and writ in royal blood.
You there? Can you hear me?
It's as I feared. They're slowing us down.
Do not say that. Not all of us are here for love of battle. He fights to defend his homeland. Your name?
Rex, sir. My name's Rex.
Good. Rex. You bore a few cuts, but you are still whole. Well, can you stand? Think you can fight?
I'm fine, sir.
How old are you, Rex?
17, sir.
Young. Family?
My brother is all I have left, sir. He's 2 years younger than I, living in Rabanastre.
So young. You're barely old enough to be a man. You shouldn't be forced to wield a sword.
No, sir. I want to fight. For my homeland. And for my parents.
It's time, Bosch. Save the discussion for later. We must reach the king before they act, or all our efforts will be in vain.
I'm aware of the situation.
We found them! Over there!
Bossler, go ahead. I will handle this rabble.
Godspeed.
Steady, Rex. Keep your wits about you and you'll make it. We move!
So for anyone who wasn't keeping up super smoothly with all the exposition that just got thrown at us.
And there was a lot of it.
Essentially, there are three main countries you want to keep in mind right now, and one of them is becoming less and less relevant at the moment. There's the Arcadian Empire, which are all of these folks that are on the ground next to us. There is Dalmasca, which is where this fellow Bosch and where our player character Rex are from. And there's Nebradia, which is kind of a country that's in between Arcadia and Dalmasca, and that's where Rassler, the prince who was killed in the previous sequence, was the royalty of. And basically, the princess of Dalmasca, Lady Ash, Ashelia, and Rassler got married as a political alliance to kind of like both of these nations are going to stand together against the Arcadian Empire, which is expanding right now. But they wiped out the capital city of Nebradia, moved forward to this fortress, which was kind of right at the border of the two nations. Dalmasca sent their entire regular army to try and repel the attack, and they got slaughtered. then basically kind of the order, the knights or whatever, they're basically never brought up again. I don't really understand exactly what their function is or how big they are. They tried to stage a counterattack, didn't work. Some of them straggled back home as the King of Dalmasca went to go sign a peace treaty, but they got intelligence one way or the other that they were planning on assassinating the king at the signing instead of actually signing a peace treaty with him. So we, as the remaining few able-bodied soldiers of Dalmasca, are all rushing to try and prevent the assassination from happening. I say rushing as we all hang out here and explain what's going on in this game.
As he asks you, hey, can you look to the left and right for me?
We're good. Do you see the marker above my head? That's a talk icon. You can talk to any character showing one of these. To talk to someone, approach them and press X. Try talking to your friend by the gate.
Isn't this the stuff you'd learn in boot camp?
Maybe he didn't have time for boot camp. Maybe he volunteered right at the very end.
Maybe.
Life is worth too much to throw away, Rex. Do what you can, but don't try to be a hero. Save the hero stories for your brother once we're back in Ravenaster. Just listen to the captain and we'll get through this. We'll enter the fortress through this gate. We must go. Are we good? Are we set? Anything else you want me to know? Can I open up menus yet? No, I can't. That's fine. Oh, okay. Just press the gate. That's fine. I figured he would want to do the honors of breaching. See the marker above your head? That's called an action icon. One of those will appear when you approach a door, a switch, an item, or the like. We know all these types of wonderful things.
Yep.
It is time. We will drive back any Imperials standing between us and the King. Dalmasca's future hangs in the balance. Stay focused on your foes on the foes before you, Rex. I will watch rearward.
The other dude not coming with us?
Oh, he's coming. Just not in the animation budget.
Yeah.
You'd think that the uber badass who just took out 16 guys would want to watch the front, have somebody else watch the back, but whatever, who cares? I certainly don't. I don't care about small details in video games, don't be ridiculous. So this is the combat system in this game, because it takes place in the same game space that you walk around in, and there's a bunch of characters all acting independently from one another because it works on an active time system instead of a harsh turn-based system. To make it clear which characters are targeting which things, they create these lines of targeting. When a foe is targeting somebody in your party, it's red. When you target someone, it's blue. When you target an ally with like a buff, it's green. It's that kind of stuff. I know a lot of people got very confused about this system when it came out, but it's essentially just a way of letting you target everybody easily, keep track of who is targeting who, what's happening at any given time. And once you select attack once, I did press it there again, but once you perform attack once, it'll basically just continue to perform that one move, just to save you a bit of time. A lot of people complain about the quote gambit. Oh, I guess I'll wait until after this cutscene, and I'll talk about it a bit more. A boss already, but I just got started. I'm not too worried about it.
No. Although you'd think for it to be a gunship, it would stay out of Sword's range.
Nah, see? It's only got that one gun. It's gotta get really close to make sure it can land a shot.
This sounds so puny.
Oh, he blocked it. Bosch blocked it because he's just that good.
Sheesh.
Somebody else threw an item at me or cured me or whatever. The animation is different depending on which one, but I don't remember it all. No, that's an item. He threw his hand out like that. Okay, so he's tossing an item at me. It's been a while. I don't remember all the specific animations. But yeah, this game, we're not going to be able to look at it right now, but this game has what's called the Gambit system, which is basically this system of AI patterns you can set up for people in your party. Bosch is going to do a super cool special move, but I don't care. You can set up basically AI patterns for people in your party that they'll follow automatically if you don't give them specific orders. And it's not good enough that it'll just replace. You need to. Okay.
My engines are hit. She'll not hold much longer.
We receive you, Tomberry. You've leave to retire. Well fought.
My thanks, Antlion. Tomberry disengaging.
So all of the ships in this game are named after classic Final Fantasy monsters. Smaller ships like that are typically named after just like, you know, your typical on the ground, you know, grunt enemies.
Dudes.
And then most of the capital ships in the air fleets are all named after like, you know, Shiva, Ifrit, Bahamut, whoever else. It's fun stuff, I like it. But, so basically the Gambit system, though, again, we'll get to talk about it in a little bit more detail later. As far as I'm concerned, it basically just cuts out a lot of the kind of BS and tedium from these kinds of turn-based games. Because for the most part, you're not making meaningful decisions in these games. At the end of the day, it's just a DPS race.
Exactly.
And you heal when you need to and use the best attacks against the people that you're fighting.
Unless it wastes a lot of MP, then you just...
Then you use a weaker attack, yeah. I mean,
it takes longer.
There are certainly some systems, some games that have better, more intricate combat systems than that, but a lot of these games are very simple. And this game isn't a lot more complicated, but what it does is just cut out a lot of the wasted time of repeating the exact same actions over and over again, or making dumb, stupid, like, heal when somebody is at X amount of HP, attack a person who's weak to Blizzard with Blizzard. Like, it cuts out some of the easy stuff. It's not a replacement for actually commanding your units around every now and then, but it makes certain things.
Yeah, and especially early game, it's not the end all because you can't just equip any gambit you want. You have to find them.
Yeah. Well, actually, one thing that's changed a bit in
What if Captain Ozilus has fallen?
Don't talk such nonsense. Vossler's laughed in the face of death far too many times for him to stop now. Men like him don't die in places like this. We must make haste to reach the king. We will take him to safety.
Is His Majesty unharmed?
He'll agree to an unconditional surrender. They wouldn't dare touch him until the wax on his seal is dry.
But if we arrive after he signed the treaty...
Wait. Quickly, Rex.
I was just gonna say, in this version, so the version that we're playing right now is very much, is heavily rebalanced from the version of the game that was originally released. There's a bunch of changes that I'm not going to get into all the details of right now. But one thing is that the gambits, which is the the names of the different parameters that you can put into your AI loops, essentially.
Yeah.
In the original vanilla version of the game, they were very bare bones initially, and getting more complex, robust ones took a lot of time. It took a really long time to get good gambits that were actually worth your time. Whereas in this game, they load you up on them a lot more right away, because really there's no reason to keep them out of your possession except to, like...
The only thing I can think of is they wouldn't want you having it immediately so that you would be able to get used to the flow of the game.
Yeah.
But that's just more of an excuse than an explanation.
But I mean, the game is really built around this system, so having the vast majority of it handed to you up front, which after we get out of the first couple of sequences, that'll all get switched on and we can mess with that a bit more. Right now, obviously we aren't, because we're still kind of in tutorial land. Are we good to go? Okie dokie. I've heard tell that going into the PlayStation save menu in some of these things can screw up syncing on recordings, so hopefully that isn't going to happen here. I'll sync up again in a second when we get into a menu here, just to make sure that it's okay.
We have little time. You must go to the king. I'll handle these.
Fight well.
One moment. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Now, hopefully, if that's all synced up just fine, then I'm never gonna have to worry about that. Maybe it's just different capture software or hardware.
Does the MP regen still work the same way?
Yeah, it does. It's basically every couple of steps that you take, your MP goes up slightly. Like you saw, it just ticked up from 33 to 34. Ouch. How did I block that when I didn't even have my hand up? That was impressive. Rex is incredibly skilled. You were making jokes about basic earlier, but...
It's the magic of an MMO, like, looking combat system.
There we go. This does look quite nice. I've seen a lot of footage of the HD version, but they have. I mean, this game obviously already looked pretty good, but they've cleaned it up quite nicely.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that earlier, but then I thought, maybe it'd be too redundant saying this HD version of a game looks pretty good.
Yeah, but oftentimes they don't.
Yeah.
This one looks pretty decent. This is looking all right by me.
All right, let's go save the king.
Yay, let's do it.
It's not like there was foreshadowing or straight up telling us that this wasn't going to go well.
Your Majesty. Captain, why? Our king, what have you done?
The king intended all along to sell Dalmasca to the Empire. His Majesty was a traitor.
Captain,
Seize the insurgent. Hello.
Well, so much for peaceful negotiations.
We'll never surrender to you. We are not cattle to be sold by a traitor king.
But the war is over, my dear Captain. You have lost. Dalmasca is the property of the Empire now. And to think, we intended to let you keep some of your sovereignty, out of respect. But now you've gone and ruined that. Haven't you, Captain?
We will never bow to you.
And the people of Dalmasca will hate you for it. Take the captain away.
Off you go.
Vaughn.
Pretenses of peace left by the wayside, the Arcadian forces resumed their advance toward Rabanastre. Dalmasca's doom had been decided.
Rabanastre is the capital of
To make
Dalmasca.
resistance would serve no end. With this foremost in my thoughts, I to the people of Dalmasca. Sons and daughters of Dalmasca, I bid you lay down your arms. Raise songs of prayer in their stead. Prayer for His Majesty King Raminas, ever merciful, a man devoted wholly to peace. Prayer, too, for the noble Princess Ash, who, wrought with grief at her kingdom's defeat, has taken her own life. Know also that Captain Bosch von Ronsenberg, for incitement of sedition and the assassination of His Royal Majesty King Raminas, has been found guilty of high treason and put to his death. They who at this late hour choose still the sword are cut of the same cloth as the captain. Traitors who would lead Dalmasca to her ruin. Dalmasca's surrender without terms was soon to follow.
This game has such a good opening. I love that entire sequence so much. It's so great.
I mean, it's been throwing you through a loop since the very beginning, really.
Mm-hmm.
They had the first one, and now, like, oh man, we're finally getting to start the game. Oh, who's our main character? Oh, Rex? Oh, nope.
Nope.
Come on! Hurry it up or they'll find us.
I know. Just a little more.
One thing I actually greatly appreciate about this game, I'm sure some other people didn't, but pretty much all of the kid characters in this game are actually voiced by kids. So Kite's up there is actually voiced by like a 12-year-old. There's There's one character in this game who we probably won't get to meet today, who is actually a very important character to the plot, and is also like he's like 12 years old and he's voiced by a kid, and he's actually a really good actor. They just tracked down a kid who could do it. But it's just nice, because typically, they get a woman to do it, or they get an older guy who just we just ignore it. Or like in Gravity Falls, Dipper doesn't sound like he's 12, but whatever, it works for that. Yeah, come on. Do I have any? I don't have any magic. I didn't think so. I was gonna say I don't think Vaughn is running around with any magic spells down here, but that's fine. Come on, how about you?
Now, of course, for this combat, we saw that we can turn it up, but is there actually there's a separate speed up in this version of the game, right?
Yes, which thank you for reminding me. We are going to use that to try and blast through more of this than we would be able to otherwise.
Big comes along.
Hey, it's good practice for the desert. I'm ready for anything now. That's enough for today. You should get back to Miguel's place, Kites. Aren't you running errands for him?
Oops, totally forgot. You should come, Vaughn. He's busy today. Might have some work for you to do, too.
I've got other, work to do. Hey, lock this place up for me, will you? If Miguel finds out we've been down here, he'll tan our hides.
It's kind of weird that this game does, everybody always jokes about in RPGs, you start out killing rats in the sewers, and it's always that. They make you do that, but after seeing a big war sequence, and much larger stakes.
After you are actually fighting soldiers.
Yeah. I don't know exactly what to think of that. It's just kind of weird.
Yeah. We're getting to see the diversity of the races in this game.
Yeah, which these are all races taken from the Tactics Advanced sub-series. 2 years hence the scenes we saw before.
Sir, you haven't paid, and What? Haven't paid? On second thought, please, sir, take it. It's a gift.
Leave the poor sod be. We don't want trouble today.
Your luck, peddler.
Oops, sorry.
Which way you're going, churl?
What? My pouch! It's gone!
The boy! Get out the way! Oh!
This is a minor point. Actually, no, I'll wait until after we're out of the cutscene because they're gonna be talking again in 5 seconds. I don't want to risk trying to pause during a cutscene because I'm afraid it'll skip.
Yeah, that's a fair concern.
Hey, that's mine.
What do you mean, yours? You've been stealing again. What happens if they catch you? We need you to be there for us, Vaughn. You're no good to anyone if you're locked away in a dungeon.
Oh, what? Am I the leader now? We're orphans. The first thing you learn is you gotta watch out for yourself. Come on, Pinello. You know it as well as I do. Hey, you give that back. What do you think you're doing?
I thought that this money was the people of Dalmasca's property. The Imperials stole it from us, so it's only fair that we take it back. It's our duty as Dalmascans. Well, wasn't that what you said?
Yeah, but I never said anything about taking it back from me.
This is for that bread you took the other day. Just because I help Miguelo out every now and then, it doesn't mean that you get to eat for free too, you know.
I know that. You think I like living like this? One of these days, I'll fly an airship of my own. I'll be a sky pirate, free to go where I will.
Well, be careful. You'll never fly anything if you're rotting in a dungeon. Oh, Miguelo had some errands that need doing. He wanted you to drop by his place. It might be a good idea to lend a hand.
I'm not sure how to describe the faces in this game, but because
yeah,
they're not cel shaded, but they have kind of that similar quality where they've aged pretty well. I mean, like, I know there's like a style and you may not like the style, but they look about as good now as they did when they came out, because it's very kind of painterly, maybe, is a quality I would go for. There's not a lot of hard edges on it. I don't know, maybe that's part of it, but whatever. Oh yay, I got a world map. The thing I was gonna say about the cutscenes in this game, I forget the name of the guy, but the, number one, this game has some absolutely fantastic, just like general direction in its cutscenes. I think this has some of the best cutscenes in any Square Enix game that I've played. I don't just mean like the big CGI spectacle sequences, I just mean in general, like the blocking and the movement of all the characters and the cinematography, it's all very nice. And the guy who did this, the main, like, the event director, I looked into him a little bit. He was one of the event directors on the first Kingdom Hearts game, but then he basically never worked on any of those ever again, which explains a lot about what happened to that franchise's cutscenes. And then he hasn't done anything else since this, really, which I don't know what they're doing with him, because he's the most talented director that they have. But, like, I was reading something about, like, how in the first Kingdom Hearts game, he proposed stuff like working in more, like, Disney shenanigans, I guess, if you will, like visual gags, like the bit where a door gets slammed on a Donald and he gets flattened behind it early on in the game. And, like, I mean, I don't know exactly which scenes he directed in that game, but the fact that in this game there's a lot of, like, clearly deliberate, like, blocking of characters in an ensemble setting, really good cinematography on a lot of these scenes that I just don't see in a lot of other games from Square Enix. I don't know, I feel like this guy's gotta be onto something that other people working with him aren't. You getting into trouble with the Imperials again, Vaughn? Well, try to be careful. If not for your sake, then for Pinello and Miguelo, okay? I read them out of order, but that's whatever. They both end with ELO. Basically the same. There's no difference between Pinello and Miguelo.
Yeah, no difference whatsoever.
There sure are a lot of Imperials out today. They think they're so great, but I hate them. I'm glad you explained that to me.
Don't let them hear you say that.
So I actually don't know what button... Oh, there it goes.
Oh, I see it. Oh.
Whee! So I think right now it's only on 2 times speed, but we can change that to 4 times speed. And I'm also going to go ahead and bump up the battle speed as well.
Alright.
Because I know what I'm doing, and I can do well in this game. Alrighty. Ooh. Let's go to Miguelo's place. Oh boy, oh boy. I'm gonna do it. There we go, alright, nice. Figured it out. Here's Miguelo. As you can see, no different from Pinello.
Practically twins, really. Same voice actor, too.
Pinello said you needed something?
Really good range on that guy.
Some packages supposed to be arriving by courier. In the morning, perhaps he ran into some trouble out in the desert. Now I've no foodstuffs to prepare for the banquet tonight.
So you want me to find this courier? Hey, no problem.
No problem. The desert teems with trouble. I'd be sending you to an early grave, my boy. No, I've arranged for some replacement goods from Tomage over at the Sand Sea.
So you want me to go to the tavern to pick him up?
Actually, I asked Kites to do that. Wouldn't you know he's gone missing on me, too? I can't leave my shop, and I've Pinello on another chore at the moment, you see. What I want you to do is run over to the Sand Sea and fetch Kites back. What do you say?
Sounds wild.
It's easy work, and you'll thank me for it someday.
Miguelo's a good guy. He's looking out for all the kids on the street after the war. Giving them stuff to do, giving them food, keeping them alive.
I really do like his voice actor for that.
Yes.
Like
he does a good job.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's not a ton of Baganda, I forget how you pronounce the name of their species. There's only a handful of those actual characters who have voiced parts in this game, but they have that kind of distinctive sound to them.
This is why Miguelo's courier didn't get here on time.
A creature spotted in the Ester Sand. What is that thing?
It's a tomato in pajamas. That's a spin-off of Bananas in Pajamas.
These days at Miguelo, if I dare say so myself. I don't envy him the work, though. Not a bit. Quite the affair throwing a banquet to welcome the Imperials, eh?
Welcoming? We should be... whatever. Say, Tomage, what's this?
Nah, don't remind me. Got some nastiness out there in the Ester Sand. What's stopping our couriers? And that means shortages all around. Thought I'd put up a bill, offer a reward to anyone who can knock that nasty back in its place.
Now that's work. Sounds 10 times better than running errands for Miguelo.
That's right. Vaughn, you should give it a shot.
And you should be getting back to Miguelo. Now, Kites. He was waiting for you.
Oh, right.
It was very dramatic for no reason right there.
Oh, the camera turn?
Yeah.
A little bit. Well, I guess it's important because the quest board is such an important mechanic in this game. The hunts are such a big deal. There's like half this game's content is tied up in the hunts. Oh crud! I didn't mean to do that. Sorry, I meant to skip that, but I wasn't reading what he was saying. Yeah, I know. That's great. Just a little something to commemorate your first hunt. What is it? Okay. I don't have a license for it. Yep. Alrighty. So basically, in this game, in addition to just leveling up your characters, you also have to spend license points to buy stuff on this board to unlock the ability to use certain items, certain magic spells, and stuff like that. And this is part of one of the biggest changes that was made between the original version of this game and the international version, which, again, for those who are not familiar, the international version means it was only released in Japan. I'm not going to get into why that is. I've talked about that before. Yeah, okay. I mean, it doesn't matter because we're not going for so long. So basically, in the original game, the idea was that every character had a nearly identical license board that you built out however you wanted and bought different components. Like, okay, I want to build this character out towards, let's say, swords. This character out towards bows. This character's going to build out into black magic. This character's going to build out into white magic, whatever else. Because each character has a certain number of points you could spend on things. And this part of this was the idea that you could basically build any of the characters in the party to be whatever you wanted. This character doesn't have to be a mage. They can run around with a shotgun if you want them to. Mm-hmm. But once you got farther into the game and you got more and more license points, all the characters eventually just kind of became homogenized. Especially in the magic department. Now, some characters who are like your dedicated mage may have more stuff, but everybody pretty much had the same stuff. And it's pretty easy to break the game in that state. Now, I kind of liked it because it meant that I could experiment with whatever the heck I wanted, and it's also fun for role-playing purposes of so for example, Penelo in this game, I think most people usually cast her as like a mage. I think canonically she's like supposed to be a dancer or whatever. She uses like pole arms and stuff like that. Yeah. I thought, in my head, I'm thinking when she's with that party later on in the game, when she gets drawn into the party, some of the characters would go, "You're a 17-year-old girl. You can't be swinging around a sword or getting into scrapes with people as a monk or whatever. Here, take this shotgun." And so I had her running around with a gun the entire time, and then I'd occasionally switch her to other things when I wanted to. What they did in the what they did in this version is basically, you have to select into a particular job. Now, they've improved that a bit over the original version, where in the original version and the international version. In the international version, each character could pick one job, and that was it. And once you picked it, you were locked into it for the rest of the game. Yeah. Very easy to build yourself into a corner and just not have stuff that you needed. In fact, I think that can still happen. Price was talking about he was playing this, and he got a little ways into it and built himself totally into a corner with the way he had his character set up. Right. In this version, after you get to a certain point, you are allowed to get a second class for each character. But even then, there's 12 classes and 6 characters in your party. So I mean, you can cover everything, but your characters do become at least somewhat limited. Not great. So I don't know exactly what I want to do here because I don't know enough about how the characters are built in this. This is another reason why doing a full playthrough of this would be difficult right now because I've never messed with any of this. Yeah. And I could very easily build myself into a corner. Weapons, daggers. Wield spears to pierce enemy armor. I mean, knight's nice and basic, right? Knights are simple. Sword and shield. I like that. That's fine. I think I'm going to do knight. I can live with that.
Yeah, it's not a full playthrough, so...
But I mean, even then, I don't want to wind up getting stuck 5 minutes from now.
Well, yeah. I mean, I doubt that. I doubt any of the classes are designed to screw you over that early on.
Well, this is all I have, so, whatever. That's great. That's just fantastic. I don't even know what the item is that he gave me. It's probably a piece of crap.
It's probably better than nothing.
1+ defense, 1+ magic resist. Slightly raises max HP. Okay, that's not terrible for right now. I can live with that.